Assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you very much for coming this evening, and we're very happy to host Professor Gormez, who one of the notable figures in the Muslim world and also around the world as we currently stand. Nida Trust is very much closely linked with Professor Gormez, Professor Rajab, Professor Murtaza Badir, and other top notable scholars from Turkey. And the reason being is because there's a great man who passed away. May Allah grant Jannah to him. Is Sheikh Mehmet Gormez, who is the Sheikh of Professor Gormez and Professor Rajab and others, and also Sheikh of our chairman, Haji Mutalimunla, who will be here, inshallah, very soon. Professor Gormez is a traditionally trained alim, and of course an academic as well. But since the AK Party came into power, Professor Gormez took the responsibility of being the president of Diyanet. Diyanet is an organization that was set up after the Republic, which was to support the Turkish community in particular with religious affairs. But it continued to remain a kind of a Turkish organization and almost insignificant at a national level as well as at the international level as well. But since Professor Gormez came to take lead of that institution, alhamdulillah, it became probably the most significant institution in the country and now internationally. Diyanet continues to work in all over the world. Now there's massive projects that has been led and initiated by Professor Gormez in Central Asia. And as you know, Central Asia is where a lot of our key scholars are from. And Turkey is doing great work in Central Asia to revive that tradition of scholarship again. Balkans, another area, Africa, Central America, as well as South America. And of course in Europe and North America as well, without saying. There's a lot of work that Professor Gormez has done in order to put those infrastructures in place, and alhamdulillah now Diyanet is doing a huge amount of work in trying to promote Islamic education and religious affairs all around the world. But the most significant work that you see is the transformation that Turkey has gone through within the last 10 to 15 years. Now we are all interested to find out what Turkey is doing. Of course, we got the president there who is leading the way, but and I don't want to praise Professor in front of him, but I think he deserves the praise. Is that what you see in terms of the religious revivalism is this man here behind the scene who led everything, and so we're so honored to actually have him here. One particular example I give you is when the coup happened. And this coup was quite an extraordinary type of coup, really, because it's different from any other coup that has happened in Turkish history. It is actually a religious organization doing it, so-called religious organization. But the interesting thing is that every single mosque, subhanallah, the imams were doing salawat to encourage people to come on the street. And that instruction came essentially from Professor Gormez. And that led to the public uprising, which then defeated that revolution. And it will be written on history that that was the turning point in Turkish history and also the Muslim Ummah history. Because if Turkey went, I think the Ummah would have been in massive trouble. So subhanallah, we are in a presence of a great man here, and he's got a lot of great things to say. Please do listen to him very carefully. You are the young alims, you are the young leaders of the future, and inshallah, we're hoping that you will lead the ummah in the right direction, inshallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala Resulina Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve ashabihi ecma'in. بداية أقدم تحياتي الخالصة وأتشرف بأن أتحدث أمام علماء الشاب وعلماء والشابات الإخوة والأخوات. نعتذر للتأخر، وأيضا أنا شخصيا بعيد عما قال فيز العلي عني. أنا طالب العلم فقط، يعني هو أوصفني وحملني ما لا طاقة به يعني. نعم.
طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Professor Gormez being very generous to me, mashallah, breaking it down very nicely. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'll speak as if the professor is speaking, inshallah. First of all, it is an honor to be speaking among you, young scholars and leaders, men as well as women. And apologies, please accept my apologies for the delay in arriving. I am far removed from what Brother Faisal has said in his introduction of me. I am but a student of knowledge, and he has made it difficult for me by introducing me in that way.
كان عالم من علماء باكستان دكتور حميد الله، أنتم كلكم ممكن تعرفونه رحمه الله. هو أستاذي أيضا في الجامعة. أستاذي كان تلميذه في باريس، وزار تركيا مرات. زار تركيا لإلقاء المحاضرة في السبعينات، فخاطب الناس في بداية الكلمة، قال لهم: يا أيها الناس، هل أخاطبكم أو أتحدث إليكم بلغة أمكم أو بلغتي أنا؟ كلهم قالوا: لا، بلغة أمنا. وبدأ أن يتحدث بالعربية، فاستغرب الناس، فقالوا: يا شيخ، أنت وعدتنا بأن تتحدث بلغة أمنا. قال: والله أنا أتحدث إليكم بلغة أمكم، لأن الله سبحانه وتعالى قال: النبي أولى بالمؤمنين من أنفسهم وأزواجه أمهاتهم.
So there is a well-known scholar, who from India, Dr. Hamidullah, who many of you would have heard of and may know. He was my teacher's teacher. My teacher studied under him while spending some time in Paris. Dr. Hamidullah visited Turkey in the 70s and delivered a talk. And he asked people, should I speak to you in your mother tongue, or should I speak to you in my language? So everybody said, speak to us in our mother tongue. Obviously that's more convenient. So then Dr. Hamidullah delivered his lecture in Arabic. So people were surprised by this, right? And you said you would speak in our mother tongue. And I think you all get the message that Dr. Hamidullah made the point, that Arabic is your mother tongue.
النبي أولى بالمؤمنين.
And of course it's because the Prophet
وأزواجه أمهاتهم.
And of course this is clearly borne out in the Quran, where the Prophet where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that النبي أولى بالمؤمنين من أزواجهم النبي أولى بالمؤمنين من أنفسهم وأزواجه أمهاتهم. That the Prophet is closer to the believers than themselves, and his wives are their mothers, and therefore.
الليلة أريد أن أساهم معكم من هو العالم. من هو العالم؟ ولا أريد أن أطيل عليكم، لا سيما بعد الكلمة أريد أن أجيب أسئلتكم وأذاكر معكم. يعني المذاكرة أحسن من الكلمة والاستماع. المذاكرة معكم مع العلماء الشاب والعالمات أيضا. اليوم من هو العالم؟ هل هو صاحب المعلومات الكثيرة؟ يعني من هو العالم في حضارة الإسلامية؟ العالم، من هو الفقيه؟ من هو المجتهد؟ ما الفرق بين العالم والمجتهد والفقيه؟ أود أن أركز على هذا. الوصول إلى معلومات كثيرة تحولت إلى أسهل شيء في العالم، ولكن إذا واحد رجل حصل على معلومات كثيرة، هل يمكن أن نسميه بأنه صار عالما؟ هل يمكن يعني كما تعرفون الله سبحانه وتعالى شهد، أعلن كشاهدا لوجوده ووحدانيته العلماء، شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو والملائكة وأولو العلم. يعني من هو العالم؟ تعريف العالم تحول إلى مشكلة كبيرة أعتقد.
Tonight, I want to share with you the question of who is a alim, who is a scholar in Islam. And I don't want to prolong, because I would prefer to move on to questions and answers and discussions, which is a better format than just one person delivering a talk from the front. So, is the alim a person who has lots of information, who has amassed a lot of information, who has a lot of ma'lumat? Or is it something else? Who is a alim in the Islamic civilization? And other similar terms, or other relevant terms, who is a alim, who is a mujtahid, who is a faqih in the Islamic parlance? We know that gathering information, knowing a lot of stuff, right, has become extremely easy nowadays. So today, if someone amasses a lot of information, or knowledge in the sense of information, can we now call such a person a alim? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to people of knowledge in the following way, in this verse, where Allah says, شَهِدَ اللَّهُ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ وَأُولُو الْعِلْمِ قَائِمًا بِالْقِسْطِ. Allah says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala testifies that there is no God but He, and so do the angels and the people of knowledge, standing with justice, meaning that the people of knowledge are referred to as being people who are testifiers unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's oneness. And the question here is, who are the people of knowledge, or the scholars who are mentioned in such a high rank in this verse?
في بداية تأسيس علوم الإسلامية علماء الحديث كانوا يقصدون من العلم الروايات والأحاديث فقط، وعلماء القراءة كانوا يقصدون من العلم القراءة فقط، والفقهاء كانوا يقصدون من العلم الفقه فقط. لأجل هذا انقسموا بينهم، بعضهم قالوا للمحدثين العلماء فقط، وبعضهم قالوا للقراء العلماء فقط، وبعضهم قالوا للمفسرين، ولكن الأغلبية كانوا يقصدون الفقهاء. مرتبة الفقه كانت أعلى مرتبة من مراتب العلوم.
In the early days, you had the ulama of hadith who were concerned about the transmission of chains of narration from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
When establishing Islamic knowledge.
Yes, and establishing the authenticity of Islamic knowledge. And the Qurra, or the word is translated as reciters. So the reciters were concerned about the Quran and the recitation of the Quran, and the meanings of the Quran. And then you had the fuqaha, the jurists, who were concerned about understanding the rulings of Islam, understanding what it is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants of us in terms of our actions. So people compartmentalized, and therefore some, depending on the context they were referred to the scholars of hadith as ulama, some referred to the scholars of qira'ah as ulama, some referred to the scholars of fiqh as ulama. But by and large, it is the people who engaged in fiqh who were considered to be the ulama.
وبعد عصر في بداية الحضارة الإسلامية واجه العلماء المسلمين مع حضارات أخرى، حضارة اليونان، حضارة روما، حضارة الفرس، وأيضا واجهوا الفلاسفة، واجهوا علم المنطق، علم الفلسفة، وبدأ الخلاف هل الحصول على هذه العلوم أيضا بالنسبة لعلماء مهم أو غير مهم، أو جائز أو غير جائز. بدأ هذا النقاش بين المسلمين، وانقسم العلوم إلى علوم عقلية وعلوم نقلية. وبعض الناس كانوا لا يقولون لمن لا يجمع بين العلوم العقلية والنقلية علماء، وبعض الناس حصروا آراءهم على علوم النقلية أو الشرعية فقط.
After some time, the scholars of the Ummah, they faced or they interacted with other cultures and other trends, and people from other cultures, other trends and other lands, and they faced they encountered Greeks or Hellenistic thought, and this brought them face to face with new ideas, with different ideas, different philosophies, different ways in which theology was addressed. And so you had the birth of falsafa, or philosophy of that time, classical philosophy, as well as theology or kalam. These things came to be. So ulama in those days debated. They had a debate about whether these things were even permissible, first and foremost, and kind of as a result of this debate, you ended up with some considering those who you ended up with a classification of knowledge in terms of aqliya and naqliya, transmitted knowledge or traditional knowledge and rational knowledge. There were these two classifications. And then ulama, according to some people, were those who combined the two, who were able to combine both the rational sciences or rational knowledge as well as the traditional knowledge or the transmitted knowledge, whereas other people only considered those who held transmitted knowledge to be the ulama.
في عهد خليفة المأمون بدأ النقاش بين العلماء، حتى خليفة مأمون جمع كلا الفريقين في نفس المجلس، وبدأوا النقاش، يعني هل يجوز ترجمة الكتب الفلاسفة من لغة اليونان إلى لغة العربية أم لا يجوز. بدأ هذا الخلاف أمام الخليفة مأمون، وخليفة مأمون أعطى لهم وقت بمدة شهر أو شهرين، وطلب من كلا الجانبين أن يكتبوا رسالة في جواز أو منع أو حرمة الترجمة من اليونان. بعض الناس قالوا أمامنا تحديات، علينا أن نتجاوز هذه التحديات، علينا أن نفهم وهذا واجبنا. وبعضهم قالوا لا، هذا سيفسدنا. لأجل هذا ناقشوا، وبعد شهر أو شهرين جاءوا إلى نفس المجلس وفد من العلماء، هم كتبوا كتاب المسمى ب البرهان في وجوب الترجمة من اليونان. ولكن الفريق الثاني كتبوا نفس الكتاب بنفس الاسم، البرهان في حرمة الترجمة من اليونان. نعم.
So, in the time of the Khalifa Ma'mun, these debates were at the forefront. These debates were happening. So, the Khalifa Ma'mun gathered scholars from both camps and hosted a debate among them regarding whether it is permissible to take the knowledge of Hellenistic philosophy, whether this is something that the Muslims should take and learn from and interact with. So he gave them a month or two to go away and produce some sort of response as ulama to this question. So they went away, and there were debates, and the perspectives were either that it is avoided and we stay away from it because it's something new and something that's unfamiliar to the Muslims, and others said that no, this can be beneficial and we should interact with it and benefit from it. And so these scholars then produced, one group came and they produced a work called Al-Burhan fi Bujub al-Tarjumati min al-Yunan, that which translates as the criterion or the ultimate evidence in favor of the obligation of translating from the Hellenistic philosophers or the Greek philosophers, right? Yet another group produced a book of the same name with the same title, Al-Burhan fi Hurmati Tarjuma min al-Yunan. So starting with the same title, that the ultimate proof proof in favor of the impermissibility of translating from Hellenistic philosophers.
واستمع الخليفة مع علماء وأمر بتأسيس بيت الحكمة للترجمة من اليونان، وأيضا أعلن بأن من ترجم من الفلاسفة اليونان إلى لغة العربية لقد يعطى له بوزن الكتاب الذهب. وهكذا بدأ الترجمة، وهذه الترجمة أيضا بعد العصور انتقل هذه الفلسفة إلى الحضارة الغربية كما تعرفون.
So the Khalifa Ma'mun heard both sides of the argument and he took a side, he took a decision, and his decision was to establish the Bayt al-Hikmah, which was established specifically for the purpose of translating the works of the Hellenistic philosophers, of the Greek philosophers. And he incentivized it. He announced that anybody who translated anything from the Hellenistic philosophers, he would award them the weight of the book that they translated. He would give them that in gold. He would give them the weight of the book in gold. And hence, so with the incentive, there was this flourishing of translated works of the Hellenistic philosophers. And as we know that as time passed on, and this is something that became part and parcel of the Muslim intellectual space, it was something also that later on other traditions, the Western tradition, took from the Muslims.
من هذا العصر حتى عصور بعد عصور الوسطى كل العلماء المسلمين ركزوا وجمعوا بين العلوم العقلية والنقلية، وكلهم تألفوا كتب في كلا الجانبين. كما ذكرت في المحاضرة قبل يومين للعلماء، لا سيما في بلاد ما وراء النهر، كل العلماء مثل ابن سينا، مثل الفارابي، الكندي، يعني حتى إمام الغزالي، إمام الحرمين الجويني، كلهم ألفوا في المنطق، في الفلسفة، في الفقه، في التفسير، في الحديث، وجمعوا بين العلوم، وكانوا لا يعدون من انتقص في الجوانب العلم، لا يقولون له عالما كاملا، ولكن إذا جمع هذا العلوم كانوا يقولون له هذا هو العالم.
So after the Middle Ages, pretty much all of the scholars combined both strands of knowledge, the rational strand as well as the transmitted or the traditional strand. And so you have scholars kind of in that period, such as Ibn Sina, Farabi, Kindi, Imam al-Ghazali, Imam al-Haramain al-Juwayni, and many, many others, who generally it was the norm that their contributions to knowledge combined both contributions in the rational sciences as well as contributions in the revealed sciences. So they wrote on mantiq, which is logic. They wrote about falsafa. They wrote on kalam, which had aspects of Hellenistic philosophy in it, as you know. But they also wrote about on fiqh and tafsir and hadith and the more kind of revealed sciences. And this became the norm among the scholars of the Muslims, and it was rare to find people who didn't combine the two who were yet considered scholars.
أحسن المثال للعلماء الشاب هو شيخ إمام أبو حامد الغزالي، وهو أيضا كان شاب وتوفي في 51 سنه كان 51، ولكن استوعب كل العلوم، حتى من أسماء الكتب التي ألفت من جانب إمام الغزالي يمكن أن تؤسس حضارة: القسطاس المستقيم، الاقتصاد في الاعتقاد، فيصل التفرقة بين الإسلام والزندقة، قانون التأويل، معيار العلم، ميزان العمل، المستصفى من علم الأصول، يعني مؤلفات كثيرة. وشيخ أحمد البدوي جمع مؤلفات الغزالي، وعلى حسب يعني هذا الكتاب عدد المؤلفات الغزالي كثيرهم يمكن المتون الصغار 507 مؤلف. ومعذرة، وحتى طالب من طلابه سأل إمام الغزالي فقال: يا إمام، كيف وجدت الوقت؟ يعني كيف وجدت الوقت وألفت هذه الكتب؟ قال: أنا رجوت من الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يعطيني الوقت في داخل الوقت، الزمن في الزمن، وأعطاني الله تعالى الوقت في الوقت، الزمن في الزمن. وأرجوكم لعلماء الشاب أن تدعوا أن تدخلوا هذه الكلمات إلى دعائكم لو تريدون أن تكونوا علماء كبار، لأن العمر قصير والعلم كثير، ونحن نحتاج إلى أوقات كثيرة، ونرجو من الله تعالى أن يعطينا بركة في الوقت، بركة الزمن، لكي نكون علماء ولو طالب من طلاب أبو حامد الغزالي رحمه الله.
The best example or role model for young scholars and young ulama or students of knowledge is Hujjatul Islam al-Ghazali, rahmatullahi alayhi. He himself was young. He was from the youth. He died when he was only 51, right? So he was active at a young age. He gathered all of the sciences And they say that if you look at the names or the titles of Imam al-Ghazali's books, and I think what the Sheikh was trying to say was, if you look at the breadth, the range of the titles of these books, then his books alone can become the basis of a civilization. His books alone can become the basis of a civilization. And the Sheikh then mentioned some of the names of Imam al-Ghazali's books, ranging from spirituality to philosophy to usul al-fiqh and so on and so forth. He mentioned some of the names. A scholar called Ahmad al-Badawi tried to survey and count all of Imam al-Ghazali's books to see what it comes to. And according to his findings, Imam al-Ghazali's books, including the larger books as well as some of the smaller rasail, the smaller booklets if you like, it came to 507. It came to 507 works. One of Imam al-Ghazali's students asked him, Sheikh, how do you find the time to write all of these books? So he said that I prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives me time within time. That Allah creates for me time within time. And so Allah gave me time inside of time. And Sheikh Gormez is saying that I request that all of us here, that you also include these words in your du'as, so that we can also have time within time. Because as young ulama, we have a lot to do, but very little time to do it in, and therefore we need barakah in our time.
وأرجوكم شيء ثاني من إمام الغزالي رحمه الله، أن تقرأوا اعترافاته في المنقذ من الضلال، حتى يعني في كل 6 أشهر على كل عالم أن يعيد النظر إلى هذا الكتاب، ويقول يعترف ويقول يعني أنا كنت في قمة العلم، أنا كنت في قمة العلم، ولكن أقرب الناس إلى النار. أنا كنت في قمة العلم ولكن أقرب الناس إلى جهنم. لأجل هذا هو ترك الديار، ترك الأهل والأسرة، وهاجر إلى دمشق، وكنس جامعة أمية، كان مكنس، كنس جامعة أمية، وعاش في غرفة صغيرة في المنارة. أنا صعدت إلى هذا الغرفة وجلست مكانه وفكرت شوية يعني، حتى وكان حينما كان يكنس المسجد أكثر ما يسمع من الأسماء اسمه الغزالي في زاويات في الجلسات العلمية في المسجد. وأخيرا قبل 2 سنين واحد من العلماء قال إمام الغزالي هكذا، ولكن هو استمع، هو يعني يعرف أنه هو يفتري عليه يعني، وتدخل إليهم فقال يا شيخ، يعني الغزالي لا يقول هكذا. وشاع بين الناس أن هذا المكنس هو ممكن الغزالي هو غاب، رجل غائب، ولأجل هذا هو ترك الشام وذهب إلى خليل، إلى القدس. وأيضا يعني حياته العزلة أيضا مملوءة بالعبر، مملوءة بالكتب، مملوءة بالعلم، مملوءة بالمؤلفات. وعلينا أن نركز على حياته العلمية كعلماء الشاب.
Okay. I would also request all of you, with reference to Imam al-Ghazali, that you read his personal admissions, his i'tirafat. So out of his reflections, there were certain things that he admitted about himself in his book Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal. Imam al-Ghazali in this book, he, among many things, he admitted to himself, he came to this recognition about himself that he was at the pinnacle, the pinnacle of knowledge, yet the closest of all people to hellfire, the closest of people to Jahannam, but yet at the pinnacle of knowledge. And having come to this realization, this self-realization, he chose to leave his land and leave his family and leave his possessions, leave this fame that he had. And he eventually became a cleaner in the Masjid Umawi.
Yes.
And he had a little room in by the minaret. And Sheikh Gormez is saying that he's been to that room and he spent some time. It's a little room, and he spent some time in the. وأنا كذلك شيخ زرت تلك الغرفة والحمد لله. And he spent some time reflecting on Imam al-Ghazali. So once, often as Imam al-Ghazali was doing his duties, cleaning and so on, he often heard people mentioning his name. People were talking about al-Ghazali this and al-Ghazali that. And things continued in this way until one day he heard a person referencing him, saying that, al-Ghazali said this. And Imam al-Ghazali felt he had to step in, because he felt that this person was falsely attributing a statement to him which he hadn't said, and he was al-Ghazali. So he stepped in and said, look brother, this is wrong, al-Ghazali didn't say this. And so this suspicion arose among people that this cleaner who's been cleaning in the masjid might be al-Ghazali. And so Imam al-Ghazali decided to leave again, because he didn't want people to know him and he didn't want people to recognize him. And so he left again and went to Al-Quds. And so his life is one of this type of solitude, where he chose to completely become a hermit and move away from people. And his life is full of lessons and learning, and full of course, these wonderful books that he wrote.
بعض الناس في الغرب لا سيما بعض المستشرقين قاسوا بين توماس أكيناس له كتاب ماي كونفيشن وبين إمام الغزالي شتان بينهما، يعني لا يمكن أن يقاس كلاهما، أو لا يمكن أن يقاس هذه الاعترافين يعني.
Some people in the West, particularly Orientalists in the West, they make a comparison between Thomas Aquinas' book, My Confessions, and Imam al-Ghazali's equivalent work. And the Sheikh is saying that there is absolutely no comparison between them. They're both completely far removed from one another.
الإمام الغزالي في عصره رأى كل المشاكل المحيط عالم الإسلامي والإنسانية، وواجه كل هذه المشاكل بطريق العلم والحكمة. على سبيل المثال رأى يعني بعض المشاكل من الفلاسفة ورد عليهم، ولكن قبل الرد عليهم كتب مقاصد الفلاسفة. والآن العلماء يعني يكتبون التهافت قبل المقاصد، ولكن هو أيضا كتب مقاصد الفلاسفة وبعده كتب تهافت الفلاسفة، ورأى أن الهجوم من الباطنية، وكتب فضائح الباطنية وكتب المستصغر، ورأى الخلافات بين أهل السنة والجماعة وكتب كتب لإزالة هذه الخلافات بين المسلمين. ويعني لا يمكن أن نرى أي موضوع، أي مشكلة يحيط عالم الإسلامي هو عالج بتأليفات، ولا سيما هو ركز، لأجل هذا أنا ركزت على إمام الغزالي كثيرا، هو ركز على العلاقة بين العقل والنقل، على الوحي والعقل. أحيانا لا يمكن أن نفهم مثلا قانون التأويل. قانون التأويل رسالة صغيرة جدا ولكن مهمة جدا، لا سيما لتأسيس العلاقة بين العقل والنقل. هو يقول في كلمته: الوحي عقل من الداخل. الوحي لا، العقل وحي من الداخل، والعقل الوحي، العقل وحي من الداخل، والوحي عقل من الخارج. هذه كلمته، وظهر النقاش على هذا الكلمة، وبعض الناس هاجموا عليه. العقل وحي من الداخل والوحي عقل من الخارج، لكي يفسر العلاقة بين العقل والوحي. وكتب في هذا المجال مؤلفات كثيرة، وفي كل كتبه ركز على الجمع بين العقل والنقل، بين العقل والوحي، وهكذا.
So Imam Al-Ghazali, he saw all of the difficulties faced by people in the Ummah, by the Muslim Ummah. And he was someone who faced all of these difficulties and all of these trials, if you like, with hikmah and with wisdom. He saw problems coming from the falasifa, from the philosophers. And so he tackled that and he dealt with that. But unique to him was the fact that Imam Al-Ghazali didn't deal with it by writing a refutation of them, but first he wrote a book on their subject. He wrote Maqasid al-Falasifa first. He established his knowledge, his expertise on the subject by writing a book on the subject first. And only after that did he write a refutation of it in the form of the book Tahafutul Falasifa. And the Shaykh makes an observation that nowadays, when people see a problem with anyone, they make no attempt at trying to establish their own qualification in the subject. They write the Tahafut first. People write Tahafut before Maqasid nowadays. But this was the wisdom of Imam Al-Ghazali. And similarly, he saw problems coming from the Batiniya, who were a sect of the Shia, and he wrote a book, Fadaihul Batiniya, to address that problem. And he saw that there were lots of differences among the Muslims, that the Muslims were not united, and there were lots of theological differences and khilafat among them. And so he addressed that. The Shaykh doesn't mention the book, but تقصد Shaykh Faisal al-Tafriqa.
No.
So he wrote the book Faisal al-Tafriqa, for example, to address the problem of difference of opinion. And he tried to present to people a way, a method for resolving these differences and for seeing these differences in a more kind of unifying way. There's no problem that the Ummah faced in his time that Imam Al-Ghazali did not try to deal with. He did not try to counteract through his writings and through his thinking. He focused a lot on the link between aql and naql, on the link between the mind, or the rational mind, and the and revelation, right? The rational mind and revelation. There was a lot of focus on this. Even little books like Qanun al-Ta'wil, which is a small book, but it's a major contribution on this particular point, on this issue of establishing the foundation of the link between revelation and rationality, or the rational mind. He said this one line that Sheikh cites. He said this one line, that the intellect, or the rational mind, is revelation from inside. It is an internal revelation. And revelation, wahi, is an external intellect. And people pored over this statement. This line is an example of an attempt by Imam Al-Ghazali to try to consolidate these these two paradigms, which of course people saw as contradictory, and this was something that was a big issue for people. And similarly, Imam al-Ghazali wrote many books in this area, focusing on how rationality and revelation can come together, and he tried to demonstrate that they are that they are not contradictory.
هذا الكتاب أنا ترجمته إلى اللغة التركية، كتاب قانون التأويل، وأيضا كتبت له شرح. أنا تخصصي حديث النبوي، لا سيما أنا ركزت في حياتي العلمية على فهم النصوص الحديثية، ورسالتي دكتوراه المسمى بإشكالية المنهج في فهم السنة والأحاديث النبوية. وحينما قرأت هذه الرسالة الصغيرة، بطريق هذه الرسالة فهمت آلاف من الأحاديث النبوية فهما صحيحا. سبب تأليف هذه الرسالة يمكن أنتم يعني قرأتم، أنتم تعرفون. واحد من تلاميذه سأل عنه حديث إن الشيطان يجري من الإنسان مجرى الدم، فقال كيف يدخل الشيطان إلى أعراق الناس، وكيف يمشي مثل الدم، وهل الشيطان يعني مائع أو جامد؟ لأجل هذا هو ما أجاب هذا السؤال، وكتب هذه الرسالة لكي يشرح كل الأحاديث في نفس التراث، يعني كيف نفهم هذه الأحاديث النبوية. لأجل هذا هو كتب هذا الكتيب الصغير.
So the Sheikh is saying that this book, Qanun al-Ta'wil, which you mentioned earlier, I've translated into
translated
Turkish.
in English. This
anyone know if that's been translated into English?
English. قانون التأويل. لا. No.
There's a brief summary of it.
Is it by who?
Frank Griffiths, philosophical theology of Imam al-Ghazali.
نعم، هناك يعني واحد فرانك جريفو، right؟ هو لخص يعني الكتيب.
نعم.
في مقالة شوية.
نعم.
So yes, so the Sheikh is saying that I've translated this book into the Turkish language, and my own specialization is in hadith, and I focused on revelation and understanding scripture. شيخنا لو أخبرتمونا عن عنوان
إشكالية المنهج في فهم السنة والأحاديث النبوية، رسالة دكتوراه.
إشكالية المنهج
في فهم السنة والأحاديث النبوية. Methodological problems.
So methodological problems in understanding the Sunnah
and Hadith.
And Hadith was the Sheikh's PhD. And I think I'm gonna أنا أشرح شوي لك يعني ما سمعت منكم في اللقاء يوم السبت. So I think my understanding of it is that I was quite fascinated by this, is that his PhD was actually on, for those of you who understand, who are familiar with usul al-fiqh, is on whether the classification of the dalalat in usul al-fiqh can be applied to the sunnah or to hadith, given that in hadith you can do riwayah bil ma'na, which if you're familiar with usul al-fiqh is actually a really fascinating question. And I believe, Sheikh, you've translated, you've had the PhD translated into English?
Into English and into Turkish, but
so inshallah, perhaps soon. Inshallah, it's going to come out soon. So I wanted to throw that in. So apologies for deviating from the translation. So the Sheikh was saying that his specialization is in hadith and in understanding scripture and revelation. And he found that this little book of Imam al-Ghazali, given his own specialization, this little book of Imam al-Ghazali enabled him to understand correctly thousands of ahadith that he previously hadn't understood. And he tells the story of a student asking Imam al-Ghazali a question around the hadith that indeed the shaitan runs through the human being the way through the veins, right? Through the veins with his blood. And the student had asked, thrown a question at Imam al-Ghazali saying that, well, how can this be? This doesn't logically make any sense. How is it possible for this other being to get inside the human being and then to kind of flow with blood? This doesn't logically make sense. So Imam al-Ghazali then, in response to that, wrote this book as an attempt to help people rationalize correctly matters of scripture that otherwise may not make sense.
بعد حروب الصليبية ولا سيما مع حروب صليبية ودخول المنغول إلى عالم الإسلامي وسقوط بغداد وسقوط بيت المقدس، وفي العالم الإسلامي ظهر مشاكل كبرى من ناحية فكرية وعلمية أيضا. ولأجل هذا بدأوا في بعد ذلك الوقت بدأوا أن يقصروا أو أن يقصدوا من كلمة العلم أو عالم علوم شرعية فقط، وتركوا علوم العقلية وحصروا أفهامهم على علوم الشرعية والنقلية فقط. وبدأ الانقسام أيضا، علوم دينية وغير دينية، علوم شرعية وغير شرعية. وأنا أقول هذا first secularism in the Islamic history.
So I never got to know all of that, but inshallah I'll remember. So after and during the Crusades, and with the problem and the kind of concurrent problem with the Mongols and the Mongol hordes and what they did to Baghdad and the Muslim lands and how they completely pillaged and destroyed them, there was a consequent intellectual crisis among the Muslims, which in the Sheikh's analysis led to a kind of compartmentalization of knowledge in terms of, in its definition, in terms of knowledge of the sacred or knowledge of Sharia and rational knowledge. And there was an attempt, or there was a movement to only focus the definition of knowledge on Shari'i knowledge. And people began making references to terms like worldly knowledge and religious knowledge. These types of classifications started to appear. And the Sheikh says that it was as though he says, I say that this was the first secularization of religious knowledge, when these types of trends started to appear.
أقدم مدرسة في مدينة سمرقند أسست مع مرصد. المدرسة مع المرصد. الناس كانوا يدرسون علوم الإسلامية الشرعية، وبعده ينتقلون إلى هذه المرصد ونفس علم الفلك.
أيوة.
لكي يكشفوا السماء، الشمس والقمر والنجوم. وألوبي العالم كبير، العالم الفلكي أيضا، هو فقيه، هو مفسر، هو محدث، هو عالم يعني، وكان مؤسس هذا المرصد، أو باللغة التركية نقول رصد خانة، ولكن
observatory.
Yes. ولكن بعد هذا العصر الأخير، يعني بعد انهيار هذا بحروب صليبية، وطلاب المدرسة هدموا هذا المرصد وقالوا هذا مخالف للشرع، نحن لا نريد أن نعمل هكذا. وهذا أيضا يعني المفترق الطرق في تاريخ حضارة الإسلامية.
Okay, so he gives this example of the oldest madrasa in Samarkand, where students studied along with the Islamic sciences. Students studied astronomy and worked in an observatory, right? Also, they kind of practiced astronomy in an observatory. And he says that this was the norm, right? So you have this old madrasa where there was no differentiation between the religious and the non-religious, or the dunyawi and the religious, and so these demarcations didn't exist. He says that after the Crusades, after this period described earlier, there was an incident where the students, this idea came to them. They ingrained in their minds this idea, this new idea, that there was something which was the religious and something which was the secular or the non-religious. And they went, and in an attempt to kind of demonstrate this, they went and demolished the observatory, as if to say that this has got nothing to do with our deen or the study of the deen. And he says that it's as though this period was this demarcation, this line drawn between two different trends in Islamic thought.
نعم. وبعد هذا إذا نظرنا إلى الكتب، القصد من العالم عالم الشرعي، عالم الديني، عالم فقط، يعني حتى على سبيل المثال علامة إمام شوكاني هو يعرف العالم يعني من يكون صاحب 5 شروط. الأولى عالما بالنصوص، نصوص القرآن والسنة، والثاني عارفا بالإجماع، والثالث عالما بلسان العرب، والرابع عالما بأصول الفقه، والخامس عالما بالناسخ والمنسوخ. من يعرف هذا فهو عالم بأكمله.
So after this period, if we look at the books and we look at how a alim is referred to, we will find that a alim is referred to in the religious sense, that alim is a religious scholar, somebody who knows the religious sciences. So interestingly, Ash-Shawkani, when he defines the alim, he defines the alim as somebody who has 5 conditions inside of him. That he is somebody who is knowledgeable of scripture. He has knowledge of scripture. He is alim bin nusus. He has knowledge of the consensus of the Muslims. He has knowledge of ijma'. He has knowledge of the language of the Arabs. And he has knowledge of usul al-fiqh. And he has knowledge of the abrogator and the abrogated, of an-nasikh wal-mansukh. He defines the alim as somebody who has knowledge of these 5 things. To him, that's the alim, which seems to be a departure in the definition of who a scholar is.
في القرآن الكريم الله سبحانه وتعالى يصف بعض العلماء بالراسخون في العلم، الرسوخ في العلم. علينا أن نركز على هذه الإفادة، يعني ما معنى الرسوخ في العلم. كما تعرفون الرسوخ يستعمل للأقدام، الرسوخ في الأقدام، الثبات على الحق، الثبات على الحق. لأجل هذا يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى والراسخون في العلم يقولون آمنا. وهذا مهم أيضا. ابن القيم يقول إن الراسخ في العلم لو وردت عليه من الشبه بعدد أمواج البحار ما أزالت يقينه. الراسخ في العلم لو وردت عليه من الشبه بعدد أمواج البحر ما أزالت يقينه فهو الراسخ في العلم.
So we see that in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes some scholars or a particular type of scholar as rasikhuna fil ilm, or translated as those firm in knowledge. If we look at the meaning of this, the word rasikh or rusukh refers to firmness of the feet, as if to say that, or rather, people whose feet are firmly planted, as if to say that being firm in knowledge is about being firm on the truth, being firm about what one knows. And the Shaykh then mentions a quote.
Ibn al-Qayyim.
Ibn al-Qayyim says that that the person who is firm in knowledge is the person who does not waver regardless of the shubha, of the doubts that come his way.
أقص لكم قصة أيضا تضحكون. وعلامة تفتزاني تعرفون هو عالم كبير، كان له جلسة مع طلاب العلم، ولكن جاء واحد من الدراويش من الصوفية وأسس مؤسسة جنب مدرسة العلامة تفتزاني، وكل الناس من حلقة تفتزاني انتقل إلى حلقة الشيخ، حلقة الصوفي الدرويش. وأخيرا جاء يوم فرأى الطالبين فقط، فقال: أين الطلاب؟ قال: كله ذهبوا إلى حلقة الدرويش. قال: هيا نذهب نحن أيضا. فدخل إلى مجلسه الشيخ الصوفي، هو يجلس على كرسي كبير والناس حوله كلهم طائعين يستمعون إليه، وفي نفس الوقت كان يقرأ من القرآن الكريم الآية من سورة الرحمن: استعيذ بالله، كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك، ولكن هو يقرأ ذي الجلال والإكرام. وتفتزاني انتهز الفرصة فقال: يا شيخ، أنت جاهل، أنت لا تعرف الآية، اقرأ صحيح. قرأ مرة أخرى قال: كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذي الجلال والإكرام. قال: لا، هو ذو الجلال والإكرام. قال: لا، هو ذي الجلال والإكرام. هذا قصة. وأخيرا الشيخ قال: سأفتح الحجاب وسيمكن أن نرى كيف هذه الآية مكتوب في لوح المحفوظ. قال: تفضل. ففتح النافذة فرأى علامة تفتزاني من بعيد مكتوب هذه الآية على لوحة، ولكن مثل ما قال الصوفي يعني شيخ: كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك، ليس ذو الجلال والإكرام، ذي الجلال والإكرام. قال: هل تيقنت؟ قال: لا تغلق النافذة، علينا أن نصحح هذا، علينا أن نصحح ما كتب على اللوح المحفوظ. لأجل هذا العالم عليه أن يكون على يقين وبعيد عن الشبه. القصة مفهوم؟
نعم. So the Sheikh is telling us a story, a funny story, inshallah, that will make us laugh, hopefully. It's going to get a bit boring in translation. He's saying that there's a story of Imam al-Taftazani who had he had a majlis, or like a circle, if you like, of students who he taught. And one day a darwish or a Sufi sheikh came and set up a madrasa next door, and started to invite students to his classes. So slowly people started to go to the Sufi sheikh's class. And one day Imam al-Taftazani arrives to his class and finds that there's only 2 students. Right? Everybody else had gone to the Sufi's class. So he says, well, what's happened? Right? So they said, oh, this new Sufi teacher that's come and he's opened his classes, everybody's gone over there. So Imam al-Taftazani said, well, in that case, let's us go as well. Right? So they all walked over to the Sufi sheikh's class. So he went over there and he found that the sheikh was sitting on this big kind of cushion, and the students were very politely and very obediently sitting around him, lapping up whatever he had to say. And in the middle of his talk, Imam al-Taftazani heard him recite the verse from Surah Al-Rahman, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. except that the Sufi Shaykh recited it as وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذِي الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Instead of ذُو الْجَلَالِ, he read it as ذِي الْجَلَالِ. So Mehmet al-Tazani kind of waited for his moment, and when he got his moment, he said, Ya Shaykh, you said that wrong, right? That's not correct. You don't know the Quran, you're ignorant, It's supposed to be recited in this way. It's supposed to be recited as Dhul Jalali. So the Sufi Shaykh said, no, it's not meant to be Dhul Jalali. It's supposed to be Dhul Jalali. He stood by what he had recited. So they had an argument, toing and froing. He's saying Dhul Jalali, the other is saying Dhul Jalali. So eventually the Shaykh said to him, you know what, if you want, I will remove all of the veils and I will show you how it is written on a Lawh al-Mahfuz, on the sacred tablet in the heavens. So he instructs for the window to be opened. Now what Tafdani says, he says, in the distance, it's appeared to him like there was a tablet in the distance, and on the tablet it was written, كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذي الجلال والإكرام, as the Sufi Shaykh had said. As if he looked at it and he thought, so as if the guy's proven his point. So Tafdani said, no, actually, go over to that tablet and correct it, because that tablet is incorrect. It needs to be corrected. So this story is to demonstrate how a scholar who is firm in his knowledge, it doesn't matter what kind of doubt people show him. If he's firm in his knowledge and convinced of his knowledge, he doesn't budge, no matter what the situation is.
أطلت عليكم ولكن علينا هيا نسأل إذا صاحب العلم صاحب العلوم إذا ما عمل بعلمه هل يمكن أن يسمى هو عالم؟ يعني العالم صاحب المعلومات فقط، أو إذا ما عمل بعلمه هل يمكن أن نقول هو عالم؟ في الحقيقة لا سيما التصوف الصحيح، يعني أهل الصوفية ركزوا على هذا السؤال، وعلماء كبار صالحون أيضا ركزوا على هذا. إمام الغزالي هو يقول 5 من أخلاق العلماء: الخشية والخشوع والتواضع وحسن الخلق والزهد. الخشية، الخشوع، التواضع، حسن الخلق والزهد. لأجل هذا يعني من غير حد أنا أوصي علماء الشاب لا سيما الجمع بين العلم والعمل، وأوصي نفسي أولا وأوصيكم ثانيا أن نركز كيف نجمع بين العلم والعمل.
So Sheikh says that I've taken too long. However, we need to ask ourselves, when a person of knowledge does not practice upon his knowledge, can we call him a alim? In particular, the true Sufis and the true great ulama have focused on this question of whether somebody who doesn't practice his knowledge can be considered a alim. And so Imam al-Ghazali says that a scholar has 5 qualities. The first quality is khashya, which is fear. The second quality is khushu', but it's like we can translate it as devotion as well as kind of humility or humble devotion, if you like. And then more specifically, humility, tawadu'. This is the third. The fourth quality is a broad one, which is husnul khuluq. He has beautiful conduct, beautiful character. And finally, he has zuhd, which is straight translation is asceticism, but zuhud is somebody who is disinterested in the dunya. A zahid is somebody who is disinterested in the dunya, a lack of interest in the dunya, or in material possessions. So Imam Ghazali says that these are 5 qualities of the people of knowledge. And without specifying anyone, the Shaykh says that I bestow upon you this advice, that we focus on practicing our knowledge and becoming people of amal upon our knowledge.
في هذا المجال أود أن أوصيكم بعض الكتب. الأولى كتاب خطيب البغدادي اقتضاء العلم العمل، رسالة صغيرة، لكن هو جمع خطيب البغدادي جمع الأحاديث التي جمع بين العلم والعمل الصالح. والثاني كتاب إمام الآجري أخلاق العلماء. والثالث كتاب إمام الذهبي بيان زغل العلم. والرابع كتاب ابن عبد البر جامع بيان العلم وفضله، وفصل مهم عن هذا الجمع بين العلم والعمل. وأخيرا أوصيكم بكتاب ابن الجوزي تلبيس إبليس، كيف يعني إبليس كيف يلبس العلماء، أو كيف يغش العلماء، أو كيف يلبس المفسرين والمحدثين والفقهاء والمفتيين. وهذه الكتب مهمة في الجمع بين العلم والعمل الصالح.
So, in this context, in the context of this question of combining knowledge and practice, I would like to recommend some books to you. So, the first book is اقتضاء العلم العمل by Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, in which he combines ahadith that emphasize this point of the need for the combination of knowledge as well as practice. And the book, I think, translates as the need for knowledge to have action, right? Or the requirement of knowledge of action. And then Ajurri's book, Akhlaq al-Ulama, the characteristics of the scholars. Imam al-Dhahabi's book, Bayan Zaghal al-Ilm. Is deception a good translation of Zaghal?
يعني كيف يخرج من الطريق يعني، أو كيف الزغل.
So if you like, the pitfalls, if you like,
yes,
of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Ibn Abd al-Barr, he has a book, Jami' Bayan al-Ilmi wa Fadli, the compendium, or the book that gathers the explanations of knowledge and the virtue of knowledge. Imam Ibn al-Jawzi has a book called Talbis Iblis, which is a famous book, which is the deception of the shaitan, in which Ibn al-Jawzi looks at how different categories of people, including scholars and different people, the muhaddithun and the mufassirun, and different categories of people are deceived and tricked by the shaitan. He goes into it in detail.
وأخيرا كلمتي الأخير، كما قلت سابقا، الوصول إلى معلومات صار أسهل شيء في العالم، ولكن المهم وظيفة العلماء الوصول بدون وصول لا يمكن. الوصول إلى أي حقيقة أو إلى أي صواب بدون وصول لا يمكن. وعلينا كعلماء أن نركز على الأصول. أقصد من الأصول أصول الدين، أصول الفقه، أصول التفسير، أصول الحديث وعلوم الأصولية. وأيضا نحن نحتاج إلى تجديد الأصول، ونحن في هذا العالم نحن نحتاج إلى تجديد الأصول أيضا. يا ليت كان لي وقت ماذا أقصد عن تجديد أصول الفقه. وهذه أيضا محاولة القديمة بدءا من البداية، لا سيما المقاصد نوع من علم المقاصد نوع من الأصول. بدأ كل كتب المقاصد يبدي هذه المسألة مع الإمام الحرمين الجويني، ولكن يعني قبل إمام الجويني أيضا علماء كبار ركزوا على أصول المقاصد، وإمام الجويني وتلميذه إمام الغزالي، وبعده عز الدين بن عبد السلام وتلميذه شهاب الدين القرافي، وبعده ابن تيمية وتلميذه ابن القيم، وبعده لا سيما في الأندلس ظهر مكتب مدرسة المقاصدية. ونحن في هذا الصدد نحتاج إلى تجديد هذه علم المقاصد وأصول المقاصد لكي نواجه التحديات تجاه الإسلام وعلى العالم الإسلامي.
Lastly, it is easy, like I said before, it is easy to gather knowledge. It is easy to gather information, to just hoard, have lots and lots of kind of general knowledge. However, the distinction of the ulama, or the distinct duty of the scholars, is the usul, is the principles. And he says that al-wusul biduni usul la yumkin, that to reach one's objective without the principles, without the usul, is not possible. And by usul, he refers to the sciences such as usul al-din, which particularly addresses, of course, the scriptures, or the scriptures from which we take the deen. So people often include things like theology and the study of Quran and Sunnah and so forth in usul al-din. Usul al-fiqh, usul al-hadith, usul al-tafsir, these subjects are all, they come under what he means by the usul, and that this is the distinction of the scholars. The scholars need to specialize in these. And in addition, we need tajdeed of the usul as well, that the usul need to be looked at, we need to re-engage with the usul, and we need to reinvigorate our knowledge of usul and our understanding of usul, and there needs to be a revival as well as a renewal of our knowledge of usul. He says, if only I had time, then I would go into what I mean by the renewal of usul. And this is something that, the renewal of usul is something that the ulama have done over time, and ulama have continuously looked at this. And a part of usul, or an attempt at this, is ilm al-maqasid, or the knowledge of the objectives of the religion, of the sharia. And this is something that ulama have continuously contributed to over time. Ulama such as al-Juwayni and Izzuddin ibn Abd salam, I may miss one or two names, Imam al-Ghazali, Imam ibn Taymiyyah, after him his student Ibn al-Qayyim. These are all people who have contributed to the topic of maqasid, or understanding the greater, or the meta objectives of the deen and of sharia.
في هذه الأيام أو الأشهر أنا ركزت على هذه المسألة، وأنا الآن أكتب كتاب عن المقاصد، وأود أن أذكر بعض العناوين فقط. الأولى مقاصد التكوين، مقاصد خلق والكون، أو مقاصد العمران كما قال ابن خلدون. والثاني مقاصد التنزيل، لماذا أنزل الله تعالى الوحي وأرسل رسول وكتب، ومقاصد أساسية في التنزيل. وأيضا مقاصد القرآن ومقاصد السنة. وبعده مقاصد التشريع. مشكلتنا نحن نبدأ بمقاصد التشريع قبل مقاصد التكوين، قبل مقاصد التنزيل مقاصد القرآن ومقاصد السنة، ونبدأ بمقاصد التشريع، وبعد مقاصد التشريع نركز على مقاصد التكليف، ونرى نقرأ الشريعة من جانب المكلف، يسر الإسلام، سمحة الإسلام، والموافقة لفطرة الإنسان، وهكذا.
Okay. So nowadays I have focused on this subject, on the subject of usul, and I'm compiling a book on it, and I'll just mention some headings that I'm focusing on in this book. So some of the headings some of the topics that I'm covering are like maqasidut taqween, the higher objectives of taqween, and by taqween he means creation of the creation of nature, if you like. So which refers to things like khalq, the objectives of creation, kawn, or if you like of being, right? As well as of human habitation of the earth, and so forth. Then it has sections on maqasidut tanzil, which looks at revelation, prophets. What are the higher objectives of this? Why are books? Why is revelation sent down? Why are prophets sent, and so forth? And then he has a section called Maqasidul Qur'ani was Sunnah, the higher objectives of the Quran and the Sunnah. And then comes Maqasidul Tashri', which is the higher objectives of law, or the formation of law. He says the problem that we have is that we too often jump to Maqasidul Tashri' straight away without exploring the maqasid of taqween, the maqasid of tanzil, of maqasid of Quran and Sunnah, without exploring the first areas that we have to look at in terms of maqasid, and hence we face problems. He says after that I've also looked at maqasid al-taklif, so the high objectives of making the creation responsible for obeying Allah and for following Sharia. And he says in that I've covered things like the ease of Islam. وذكرتم أشياء أخرى يسر الإسلام
سمحة وفطرة
how Islam is moderate and open, and the whole idea of the fitrah of the human being, how Islam is according to the fitrah, and so forth. These types of things have been covered under مقاصد التكليف.
أود أن أختم كلمتي بكلمة أنقل من ابن قيم الجوزية، وأرجو من شيخ شمس الضحى أن يترجم كل فقرة.
طيب.
فإن الشريعة مبناها وأساسها على الحكم ومصالح العباد في المعاش والمعاد. فإن الشريعة مبناها وأساسها على الحكم ومصالح العباد في المعاش والمعاد.
طيب أنا أترجم من النص إن شاء الله.
أنت لا الآن.
طيب. So I want to end with a quote from Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyya, who says that indeed the Sharia, its basis and its foundation is upon wisdoms and the common interests of the slaves in their livelihood or in their life in the dunya, as well as their life after.
وهي عدل كلها.
And all of it is just.
وهي رحمة كلها.
And all of it is mercy.
ومصالح كلها.
And all of it represents general interests.
فكل مسألة خرجت من العدل إلى الجور.
So every issue or every mas'ala, every issue that comes out of justice into injustice,
وعن الرحمة إلى ضدها,
or from mercy to its opposite,
وعن المصلحة إلى المفسدة,
or from general interest or benefit to harm and corruption,
وعن الحكمة إلى العبث,
or from wisdom to frivolousness or uselessness,
فليست من الشريعة.
then such a thing is not from the Sharia.
وإن أدخلت بالتأويل,
Even if through some sort of interpretation, it was added to it, it was entered into it.
والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
جزاك الله شيخنا. طيب أسئلة؟ الله يبارك فيك. So inshallah the Sheikh will take questions. Inshallah. Translation is never easy, but alhamdulillah he made it easy for me. So questions inshallah. So ask your questions in Arabic if you want directly, or in English, and I will try inshallah and translate your question to the Sheikh inshallah.
I'm sure the Sheikh understands English very well.
Yeah, and the Sheikh understands English as well. So if he will save me the trouble, then he can answer directly from the question. And we will. Okay. So we will inshallah go on for about 20 minutes till 15:15. After that the Sheikh has another commitment. Yeah, so the Sheikh says, look, I've spoken to you in your mother tongue, so what's the issue? So shall we begin from the right inshallah, and from the front, and then I'll try and catch as many people as possible inshallah.
It is not really a question, just I want to say thank you very much for the Sheikh, because he clarified for when the secularism are started in the Islam. Because dunya and deen, we divided. And Allah said, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana.
No.
But we divided. So it is very genius for us and excellent that we understood now the dunya and deen is together, not divided.
Yes.
So let's go to the next.
And
then I'm going to take two from the sisters, and then we'll do it like that. We have to be fair.
For young scholars, how would you recommend prioritizing studies and time? What would you recommend focusing on studying, teaching, or how would you recommend prioritizing different activities?
في الحقيقة من ترك الطلب لا يمكن أن يكون عالم. بداية علينا حتى نهاية عمرنا من المهد إلى اللحد علينا أن نركز على العلم، على طلب العلم. هذا أول. الثاني يقول علي عزت بقوفيتش، هو leader of بوشنياك، ويقول من لا يكون تلميذ السماء لا يمكن أن يكون معلم الأرض، معلم الدنيا. علينا دائما أن نكون تلميذ السماء. الصبر أيضا، حتى في شعر ولكن لا يمكن أن أكمل: ألا لن تنال العلم إلا بستة: ذكاء وحرص وإرشاد أستاذ وطول زمان. وكما قلت نرجو من الله تعالى أن نعطي إلينا الزمن في الزمن، هذا مهم. وأيضا المهم ما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: من عمل بعلمه علمه الله ما لم يعلم. هذا مهم. يعني الصحابة كانوا يقرؤون القرآن ويعملون ويستمرون على القراءة، ونحن يعني يا إخواني في عالم الإسلامي ازدادت بروفيسور ولكن أقل العلماء، ازدادت دوشنت وازدادت دكتور. كلنا دكتور، صرنا دكتور يعني، ولكن أقل العلماء. وفي هذه الأيام الأخيرة ظهر ديجيتال واعظون، ديجيتال واعظ كلهم يظنون أنهم علماء وهم يفرقون الناس. يعني كلهم هو يجلس في إنترنت ويفتي ويتحدث يتكلم ويفتي. المفتي هو الموقع عن الله سبحانه وتعالى، وهذا المجرى إنترنت لا يقبل لا أعرف، لا يقبل رجل يقول لا أعرف لا أدري. هو يعرف كل شيء، هو يعرف كل شيء. علينا أن نجتنب من هذه الوعاظ والقصاص والبكاؤون. تعرفون البكاؤون؟ في عصور الوسطى أيضا كان يعني نبذة من الوعاظ كانوا يسمون بكاؤون. هم كانوا يحضرون الكميون عندهم لكي يبكي، يعني يبكي ويبكي يعني. والآن ظهر هذا الرجال من هذه، لا يمكن أن نقول هذه علماء، وحتى لا يمكن أن نقول وعاظ أيضا، يعني لأن الوعظ لغته لغة الحكمة. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى: ادعوا إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة، وهم بعيدون عن الحكمة. نحن نحتاج إلى علماء يا إخوان، والله نحتاج، مثل هواء نحن نحتاج إليكم. اليوكي تحتاج إليكم، وأوروبا تحتاج إليكم، لكي نصحح أفهام الخاطئة بين المسلمين، ولكي نزيل عداوة الإسلام ومخافة الإسلام من قلوب غير المسلمين. نحن نحتاج إلى علماء العاملين المخلصين. هلك الناس إلا العالمون، وهلك العالمون إلا العاملون، وهلك العاملون إلا المخلصون.
Right, I didn't note that very well, but inshallah. So the question was from the brother about how to prioritize, right, your learning. So the Sheikh says that, look, whoever learns, at the end of the day, whoever learns seeking, whoever leaves talab, whoever leaves seeking, whoever stops seeking can never become a alim. Sorry, there's Ebrahim College students in here, so please just remember this one. This is very important. So whoever leaves seeking knowledge never becomes a alim. وعندنا مشكلة شيخ، يعني الطالب يتخرج من دار العلوم أو من الجامعة الإسلامية فيظن أنه أصبح عالم، ولأجل ذلك يترك الطلب، يترك الطلب. أنا عالم، الناس الآن يعني يدعونني بأني عالم، يعني لأجل اللقب.
ورسول الله سبحانه وتعالى كلما يدعو قال اللهم زدني علما.
اللهم زدني. How can that be if the Prophet ﷺ asks for increasing in knowledge? Right, how can we give up seeking, mashallah? So, and he says that there's this scholar whose surname I don't get, but Ali Izzat Bagovic, right? Who he says that whoever can't
especially his book is Islam is between East and West. Very famous book. I recommend everyone. Yes.
Begovic, right?
Yeah.
Begovic, yeah. So he says that whoever can't become a student of the heavens cannot become a student. The one who can't become a student of the heavens cannot become a teacher of the world.
Yes.
And of course, Imam Shafi'i's poetry, which I tried to find actually, that's how I ended up losing my notes. I can never remember poetry. I think my students know this. So Imam Shafi'i's poetry as well is quite important. Imam Shafi'i speaks about the things that you cannot seek knowledge without. So he says, you cannot seek knowledge without the following things. Shaykhna? So he says, Imam Shafi'i says, أخي لن تلن العلم إلا بستة سأنبيك عن تفصيلها ببياني. You can't seek knowledge except without six things. I'll tell you what they are, the details of them. ذكاء وحرص واجتهاد وبلغة. So intelligence, covetousness for knowledge, hard work, وبلغة, which last time I checked was a kind of maturity, right? Was maturity. وصحبة أستاذ وطول زمانه, and the company of a teacher and a long time.
إذن أرجوك أن تضيف شعر آخر. شكوت سوء حفظي إلى وكيع وأوصاني بترك المعاصي. تفضل.
So that's one of the few I managed to. So, and of course Imam Shafi'i's famous poem where he complains to Imam Waki', his teacher, شكوت إلى وكيع سوء حفظي فأرشدني إلى ترك المعاصي. So when he complains to him, Imam Waki guides him to give up sins, because he explains that knowledge is a light from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَنُورُ اللَّهِ لَا يُعْطَى لِعَاصِي, and the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not given to the sinner.
وَنُورُ اللَّهِ لَا يَبْقَى بِعَاصٍ.
Subhanallah. And of course, as he said before in his talk, that we should pray for time inside time, if you remember what he said earlier. And there is also a hadith attributed to the Prophet ﷺ that whoever acts upon his knowledge, Allah gives him knowledge that he did not have before. And then the Sheikh comments that we have lots and lots of professors and docents, whatever that means. We have lots of professors and sorry? Yeah. Docent are like people who, I don't know, double up on qualifications, I suppose. And then you have this phenomenon of the digital wa'iz, the digital preacher. All right, it's the best way to put it in English, I think. Who think they are ulama but just confuse people. And then these people are giving fatwa, right? You know, people ask and then they give fatwa. And the Shaykh says, Al-Mufti huwa al-muwaqi' anillah. So the Mufti, so by muwaqqa' you mean certified from Allah.
Signature.
Right? So Mufti is the one who kind of signs on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning that's how heavy and grave the position is of somebody who gives fatwa. And the problem with the internet, when you give fatwa on the internet, the problem with the internet is that the internet does not accept I don't know.
Yes.
The internet doesn't accept a situation where you don't answer the question. There is whoever's being asked the question is too obligated to give an answer, and that's a problem. And then you have the bakka'un, right? The crying preachers, whose credibility comes from how many tears they can shed. And he says that, look, don't fall for these things. And I suppose the more important thing is don't become that. And he says that there's all of these people who give us wa'd, who appear to be ulama or claim to be ulama, and we shouldn't necessarily accept them as ulama. He says wa'd necessarily, or preaching necessarily requires wisdom. It requires wisdom. And of course, if that wisdom isn't visible, if it's not there in the words, then the person cannot be considered a alim. And he says that we need ulama who are amilin, who are people of action, who practice their knowledge. And he mentions another hadith attributed to the Prophet ﷺ that all people are in destruction or are in danger except for the knowledgeable ones, and the knowledgeable ones are in danger except for the ones who practice. And I think that it ends with, and the ones who also practice, even they are in a grave danger. Okay. So we'll go to, and the ones who practice are in danger except for the ones who have sincerity. وَالْمُخْلِصُونَ عَلَى خَطَرٍ عَظِيمٍ. And the ones who have sincerity are also in grave danger. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Yes, we'll start with the sisters now. Go on.
كيف نميز بين مقاصد القرآن والسنة ومقاصد التشريع؟ والثاني وما الطريق أو الوسيلة إلى دراسة هذه المقاصد التي ذكرتم؟
نعم، شكرا. في الحقيقة ابن القيم يقول في 1000 آية من القرآن الكريم الله سبحانه وتعالى يظهر المقاصد. 1000، أكثر من 1000. لا نحتاج إلى تأمل، هو الله سبحانه وتعالى يشرح. ولكن أنا أقصد من مقاصد القرآن أو مقاصد السنة الكليات التي نفهم من كثير من الآيات، نحن نسميه بالكليات، الأصول الكليات. وبعض المفسرين كتبوا عن مقاصد القرآن أيضا، مقاصد السور، وهذا نوع من التفاسير، لا سيما تفسير رشيد رضا المنار. في بداية هذا التفسير هو يركز على مقاصد القرآن، وأيضا لا سيما طاهر بن عاشور في التحرير والتنوير، وكتب هذا التفسير على نهج المقاصد، وكتب على منهج المقاصد. ولكن لا يزال نحن نحتاج إلى قراءة القرآن ونجمع المقاصد الكلية ونفهم كل آية تحت هذه الكليات. ونفس الشيء في السنة أيضا، علينا أن بداية نقرأ ونجمع مقاصد السنة، وإذا شرحنا أي حديث أو رواية علينا أن نفهم هذه الأحاديث تحت إطار هذه الكليات. لا يمكن يعني أن يخالف حديث من الأحاديث الكليات السنة، وهذا مهم جدا. في بعض الكتب أيضا يعني العلماء راسخون يركزون على هذه الأصول. أنا أشبه كل حديث أشبه إلى بازل، إلى لوحة الصورة، ولكن لا يمكن أن نرى كل أجزاء البازل أو كل الصورة من أي رواية واحدة. جزء من البازل يمكن أن تقرأ في صحيح البخاري، وجزء منه يمكن أن تقرأ في المستدرك الحاكم، وجزء يمكن أن ترى في سنن الدارقطني، وجزء روى سيدنا أبي هريرة، وجزء روت من سيدة عائشة رضي الله عنها. إذا ما جمعنا هذه الروايات، الجمع بين الروايات، لا يمكن أن نفهم من أي حديث. يعني إذا ركزنا على رواية واحدة وتركنا الأحاديث في نفس الموضوع في مواضيع أخرى وتركنا السنة، هذا لا يمكن أن نفهم. لأجل هذا الآن ظهر منهج صيدلية، تركنا الطب الأطباء وركزنا على الصيدلية، على طريق الصيدلية. هذا كما تعرفون النقاش بين إمام أبي حنيفة وأعمش. أعمش قال: سمعت أنك أفتيت هكذا، من أين هذا؟ قال: من رواية رويت أنت، الأولى والثاني والثالث. وأخيرا الأعمش قال: نحن المحدثون الصيادلة وأنتم الفقهاء الأطباء. إذا أصابنا مرض ونذهب إلى الصيدلية، وصاحب الصيدلة يختار ما يختار، يعني من أي علاج، يمكن هو يعطيك علاج ولكن هو سم، هو يسممنا، ونحن نحتاج إلى أطباء، إلى الجمع هذه الأحاديث، إذا جمع الآيات القرآنية والآيات الكونية وسنن الله في المجتمع وأسباب النزول، أسباب ورود الحديث. لماذا قال هذا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم؟ لمن قال؟ أين قال؟ إذا ما جمعنا هذه كله، إذن نحن نخطأ في العقائد، في العبادات، في كل الشؤون. يعني عليه لأجل هذا وصول المقاصد أهم شيء لأن نصل إلى حقائق علمية. أطلت؟
استفدنا. Sorry?
Yes.
I'll try and summarize,
Yes,
inshallah. Yeah.
summarize.
So the sister, I caught the first part of your question, Sister Mansour, but I didn't catch the second part. So the question was, how do you differentiate between the maqasid of the Quran and Sunnah and the maqasid of Tashriq? So I think the answer mostly focused on that. So the Shaykh says that Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah said that 1,000 verses of the Quran, there are 1,000 verses in the Quran that in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just expresses maqasid, or higher principles, if you like, or higher objectives. And what the Shaykh says that what I mean by these maqasid is kulliyat al-usul, which the way to translate that is
total rules.
Yeah, they're like meta principles, maxims,
Yes.
things that a single rule that apply to a multiplicity of subsidiary issues, right? So the verses that have maqasid in them, or the maqasidi verses, if you like, are the verses that have kulliyatul usul, which we can extract from the verses. Some mufassirun have also looked at the maqasid of surahs as a particular genre. People like Imam Ibn Ashur has focused on this in his tafsir. And he says that how you have to understand it is, how you have to look at the Quran is you understand all of the kulliyat, all of the maxims, all of these kulliyat al-usul as a top tier of verses. And then the remainder of the verses, of the juz'iyat if you like, fall under the kulliyat. They come under these meta-narratives, or these top-level maxims. And the same principle applies to the hadith, that you have principles and then you have the subsidiary issues underneath. And you should not find, there shouldn't be a contradiction between the maxim and the subsidiary issue, right? So that a hadith would not a hadith which addresses a particular issue can never contradict a hadith that articulates a maxim related to it. In many books, or in some books, great ulama have focused on these issues, and he gives an analogy that all of the hadith are like a puzzle. We can't see all of the pieces. We can't see the whole picture from a single piece of the puzzle. Meaning that we can't see all of the full picture represented by all of the pieces of the puzzle from a single narration of hadith, right? So there may be a piece of the puzzle in a narration in Bukhari, another piece of the puzzle in a narration of another hadith book, another piece in another hadith book, one piece in a hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, another piece in a hadith narrated by another sahabi, and so on and so forth. It is only when you gather all of these narrations that collectively in these little bits speak about the same issue, and then we analyze all of them. Only then can we understand the full picture. Only then do we have the full puzzle. And he says that the problem is that we now have become pharmacists, and he's referring to that famous story of Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam A'mash debating, Imam A'mash questioning Imam Abu Hanifa about the basis for his fatwas. What's this fatwa you've given? What's that fatwa you've given? And Abu Hanifa responding to him saying, actually, I've given the fatwa based on a hadith that you yourself have narrated. That is based on a hadith that you yourself have narrated. And at the end of the debate, Imam A'mash came up with this famous statement. He made this famous statement that we, the muhaddithun, are the pharmacists, and you, O fuqaha, are the doctors. The idea being that you see things that we don't see. We hold the treasure, we hold the narration, we hold the hadith, but we don't see as much as you see. So we are like the pharmacists who have the medicine. You are the doctors who prescribe the medicine, because you can see the full extent of the use of the medicine. So therefore we have to look at the whole picture in any narration or in any of any source text. The why, the who, the when, the full picture, and only then can we come to conclusions. But if we act like pharmacists then you pick a tablet and you just pop it. Basically, that bit's from me. So the thing about the thing about the pharmacy, that if you're like that, then essentially you just become a drug addict, basically. Anyway, Sheikh, عفوا. أضفت شيء.
I have one question, not related with maybe. So what is the reason that over the world the Muslims
Can I? Sorry, okay, but I'm going to try and distribute. I'm going to take one more question from a sister and then come back to the brothers. Okay, inshallah. So go ahead, sister.
فضيلة الشيخ هل من الممكن أن تذكر بعض النصائح الخاصة لطالبات العلم علوم الدين في هذا
طالبات العلم.
للطالبات في الحقيقة نحن كمسلمين من البداية نحاول أن نطير بجناح واحد، ولكن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم طلب منا أن نطير بجناحين. لأجل هذا قال: العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة. وتحول المدينة في عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى open university for everything, for every man and woman. ولكن بعد وفاة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كما قال اعترف سيدنا عمر، قال: نحن في عهد النبي كنا نخاف أن نعلي أصواتنا على نسائنا، كنا نخاف أن ينزل علينا الآيات ويعاتبنا. وفي الحقيقة التقاليد تقدم مبادئ الإسلام لا سيما في مسائل النسائية. في مسائل النسائية تقدم التقاليد والأعراف على مبادئ الإسلام. نحن علينا أن نعترف هذا. رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم استشار، أول ما استشار الوحي مع زوجته، يعني نزل من حراء فجاء إلى خديجة إلى أم المؤمنين فقال: خشيت على نفسي. وماذا أجابت؟ قال: إن الله لا يخزيك أبدا، إنك لتصل الرحمة، إنك لتحمل الكلة، إنك هكذا وهكذا. استشار الوحي الأولى مع امرأته. ونحن كمسلمين وضعنا حديث باسمه فقلنا لا تستشيروا، شاوروهن وخالفوهن. ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أخذ معلم بالأجرة لكي يعلم امرأته اللغة الأجنبية، ولكن نحن وضعنا حديث فقلنا لا تعلموهن الكتابة، وهكذا يعني كثير جدا. لأجل هذا نحن نحتاج إلى عالمات، ليس علماء فقط، علماء رجال فقط. نحن نحتاج إلى عالمات أيضا كعالم الإسلامي وأسرة الإنسانية. نحن نحتاج علينا نرى سيدة عائشة رضي الله عنها، سبحان الله. زوجتي هنا معي، ولكن هو حضر رسالة دكتوراه، رسالة ماجستير عن روايات سيدة عائشة في التفسير. ولأجل هذا في بيتنا نحن ناقشنا كل الموضوع، وقلت في نفسي: يا رسول الله، كيف وجدت الوقت وتعلمت أمنا، درست أمنا عائشة رضي الله عنها بكل جوانب الإسلام، بكل جوانب الإسلام، أكثر مع التكرار أكثر من 5,000 أحاديث. وله آراء في كل مكان. سيدنا ابن عباس يقول ما يعني لم يوجد مسألة ما نحتاج إلى فتاوى أم المؤمنين عائشة رضي الله عنها. لأجل هذا أيضا يعني الأخوات الكرام نبارككم لجهودكم كنا، وكما قلت نحن نحتاج إلى عالمات أيضا، يعني علينا أن نطير بجناحين إن شاء الله.
So I think the Sheikh kind of nailed it with the first line actually, to be honest. He says that as Muslims we've tried to fly with one wing. When the Prophet ﷺ taught us to fly with both wings, when he taught us طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة. So the Prophet ﷺ set up an open university, open to men and women, but yet after his death, and by admission of people like Umar radiallahu anhu, you know, things changed. And Umar radiallahu anhu's admission was along the lines of him saying that we, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, we feared raising our voices to the women in case revelation would come and admonish us. Meaning that there was a hesitancy, there was a kind of there was a fear of how men behaved towards women and so forth in case of revelation. And the Sheikh says that the truth is that cultures have overtaken the principles of Sharia as far as women are concerned. Culture, or all the different cultures that Islam interacted with, they have taken over the principles of Islam insofar as the issue of women is concerned. The Prophet ﷺ, after receiving revelation, the first person he consulted was a woman. And despite this, somehow we have fabricated statements like "Shawiruhunna wa khalifuhunna." So it's a famous statement. Believe it or not, I used to hear it from my teachers all the time. that's why I kind of. So we've heard things like, now this is advice given, by the way. Take their advice, but go against it. Right? The Prophet ﷺ paid somebody to come and teach the women at home, teach them how to write and so forth. He paid people to come and teach writing, yet we've come up with invented statements. We've invented statements that tell us not to teach women how to write. The Prophet ﷺ's example, the Sheikh mentions his own wife, that she did a master's in the narrations of Aisha radiallahu anha. This was her dissertation, right? Her dissertation, the narrations of Aisha radiallahu anha in tafsir. And upon that, the Shaykh reflects and says that well, he said it differently, but I'm going to paraphrase, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did not leave any aspect of Islam without teaching it to Aisha radiallahu anha. She narrated, if you leave the repetition, some 5,000 narrations, and there were so many things that couldn't be known about the deen without referring to Aisha radiallahu anha. So the Shaykh congratulates the sisters for their journey of seeking knowledge, and says that we need to fly with both wings. So coming back to the brothers, inshallah. So are we running out of time? So can we take one more on each side? So I'll go to the middle row. So what I'll do, inshallah, is I'll take 2 or 3 questions. Please keep them as questions. Is that okay? Inshallah.
And also I would like to summarize, inshallah.
And the Sheikh will summarize as well. Go ahead.
I actually want to have one question. The second question just comes from the explanation of the Sheikh when he said that the way you look at the hadith is as if it's a puzzle.
Yeah.
Different pieces of puzzles,
Yeah.
one hadith with different narrations. Yeah. But that's another problem we have in Manhaj Islam. There's another Manhaj that looks differently. That's we have to apply each piece of puzzle.
Yeah, well, I think the Sheikh.
Which Manhaj are referred to?
Yes.
Manhaj Salaf, for instance. So there are different riwayas in the same hadith, so apply them separately.
And sometime every hadith became weapon.
That's right.
Weapon.
Okay.
So the manhaj is widespread anyway. So my question actually is this: what you said about the Imam Ghazali, the over 500 books. What are those books? They're not even translated. Which university is teaching that?
Yes.
And I know in some universities, instead of even teaching the books or even the thinking of Imam Ghazali, they even tell about him he's a Sufi, he's a Ahl Kalam. I say this because it's an experience I went through. I studied in one of the Arab countries in the Gulf. So we used to be taught logic. And then suddenly they came and said, no, this is Ahl Kalam. And they remove it from the curriculum.
طيب.
That's again.
So
again, I'm going to that next question again. Is that it means that one of the reason for the fall of this enlightenment of Islam in terms of science and arts, it is because of this division of knowledge of deen and knowledge of dunya. So we actually separate them and leave the knowledge of dunya in the hands of the Western world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Therefore, the reason there's no university where we can actually teach both. Well, that's another point.
Soon, inshallah.
So we can say, okay, we need an alim, we need an ulama.
Thank you.
There's some efforts already started in Turkey, inshallah. Soon we'll have one in London. Mufti Khalid.
Not Turks, not Arabs, together, all Muslims, inshallah.
شيخنا حديثكم الليلة عن الإمام الغزالي رحمه الله ذكرنا بما كتب الشيخ أبو الحسن علي الندوي رحمه الله عنه.
أبو الحسن
علي الندوي
نعم.
في كتابه القيم رجال الفكر والدعوة.
نعم.
بأنه مجدد وقته لأنه عالم المشاكل والمسائل التي واجهها الأمة. فنحن نسألكم ما هي المشاكل التي علينا أن نعالجها في هذا الزمن؟
شكرا. لا يزال نفس المشاكل وازداد نفس المشاكل في عصرنا الحالي في الحقيقة. بداية يعني طول المحاضرة علينا أن نعيد النظر إلى أفهامنا تجاه الإسلام وأيضا في تحديات يعني في بداية في عصر الماضي كانت تحديات، ولكن كمسلمين ما أجبنا ما تجاوزنا هذه التحديات وظهر عصر العولمة، ولا يمكن أن نعد كل المشاكل الآن يعني كلها معروفة من جانبكم، ولكن نحن نحتاج إلى إمام الغزالي أو الأكثر من إمام الغزالي، يعني نحن نحتاج إليه. جزاك الله خير.
شيخنا، هل ترون أنه لابد من تجديد في العلوم العقلية في هذه الأيام؟
أستاذ شمس، في الحقيقة نحن نستعمل أحيانا 3 كلمات مع الإسلام: الإحياء والإصلاح والتجديد. وأقول الإسلام لا يموت، لا تحتاج إلى الإحياء، ولكن أفهامنا، أفكارنا، قلوبنا يموت وتحتاج إلى الإحياء. الإسلام لا يمرض، لا يصيب المرض إلى الإسلام، يعني لا تحتاج إلى الإصلاح، ولكن نفوسنا، عقولنا، أفهامنا، قلوبنا مصاب بالأمراض وتحتاج إلى الإصلاح. والإسلام لا يقدم أيضا، الإسلام لا يقدم، هي رسالة خالدة لا تحتاج إلى التجديد، ولكن أفكارنا، أفهامنا، قلوبنا، أرواحنا تحتاج إلى التجديد. ونختم بهذا إن شاء الله.
ما شاء الله. الله يبارك فيك. So Sheikh has requested that he finishes on this note, inshallah ta'ala. So jazakumullah khair. I think a lot. If we reflect on what he said, inshallah, we'll see that he was very elaborate and very clear, inshallah. So I'm hoping that we've caught you on video as well.
I'm now free. When we invite, inshallah, I come here, inshallah.
Inshallah. Allah yabarak. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. And so I'd like to close formally and thank Sheikh Gormez for coming, and I mean I think he came straight from Cardiff straight into here and delivered the talk, and he took more questions than I thought he would be able to. So Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh, and it's been a great honor and a great pleasure to have you, and I'm sure we've all benefited greatly, inshallah. So Jazakallah khairan, we'll end with that, inshallah. Sallallahu ta'ala wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi.